Hi, my name is Jay, and I would like to start the presentation of the discipline of communication and how we as human beings are impacted by those messages on how we interact with one another and how these messages can dictate the way we behave. Of course, communications is like talking back and forth with one another, but it's also getting thoughts and messages, whether they be verbal or nonverbal. The results of communication is very important to us, the involved creatures that we are today. Whether it's in different settings, like whether it's two individuals talking, whether it's a gathering talking, or maybe it's just crowds across different countries utilizing an assorted arrangement of organizations or media. And as we talk about media, we know during the pandemic, we wasn't allowed to communicate and interact like we usually do. So that's where social media come through. And really, public and social media is how we as individuals communicate nowadays. And it's becoming a big thing. But you have to concern yourself with two questions. How does individuals, when they're communicating, see the world? Everybody sees the world differently. How ought they act when communicating? The job of communicating is to make the world superior or great. What's interesting to me about the study of communication at NC State is that this communication can be used and seen as both humanities and social sciences, which is understood because it is in the department or college of humanities and social science. It is housed with different disciplines, and these different disciplines all are like building blocks from one another. Even if you do not take certain disciplines, you will dibble and dabble within these disciplines. Within your classes, you will see how all of these disciplines are somehow connected in one way or another.
Hi, my name is Kaylee, and I'm going to be telling you about the degree paths and classes that we offer at NC State, as well as careers that you can pursue within a communications major. So, for starters, a degree path is commonly known as a concentration. We have concentrations for every major, and some of the communications concentrations that you can pursue at NC State are interpersonal relationships, administrations, cultures, linguistic theory and criticism, performance studies, argumentation and persuasion, technology facilitated communication, and popular culture. Within your concentration, you will usually take classes that really focus on your object of study. So for communication, some of our classes include interpersonal communication, public speaking, communication theory, and communication and technology. Once you earn your degree, some of the careers that you can pursue are public relations, marketing and advertising, social media, writing and publishing, meeting and event planning, and politics.
So for our research portion of the project, we use a article of research compiled by the communications department here at NC State. And we was just kind of looking at how communications really tied into these different branches and topics. And it's a very diverse array there. So in this specific article that we used, it was actually kind of tethered to alcoholism. And the title of it is Study ID Strategies to Help Recovering Alcoholics, which is definitely an interesting kind of notion to kind of carry in your head, that like communications tie into these psychological fields and whatnot. Um, but yeah, communications is simply everywhere, and that's part of one of the three interesting facts or things that we learned about this research. And when it comes to communications as a whole, I would say number one is that communications as a genre, as a discipline, it connects with more than just the words for face value, right? It's not just language, it's not just words, but it's also the feelings and psychology behind these words. When I say feelings and psychology, we mean social stigmas and kind of how people react and go throughout their lives with these implications planted on them. And yeah, there's all these different types of connotations, good or bad, and they affect how people live their lives. And that was a big moment, a big point for the article of research that we found here at NC State. I would say the second kind of like grandiose point that we found while doing research here is that most of communications is done in close relation to another disciplinary field. So it's not just communications working on research in communications. It's communications in relation to biology, psychology. In this case, it was with the psychology of the words and how they affect social stigmas and how they affect how people carry on and live their lives. And maybe the third kind of like biggest point that we wanted to drag out and really mention here is that the implications of communication goes beyond the casual conventions, the casual conversations, and there's a much broader and diverse way to tether communications in with other disciplinary fields and find value in just any number of issues anywhere, like from national levels of social issues to kind of like a global scale. There's ways to tie in communications within any field, and there's just ways to really stamp communications and find a value to really communicate with.